I'm Jason Rowe. I'm the new executive director. And appreciate the opportunity to address this group. I thought it was a family event, that we're all on the same side, but it didn't sound like it there for a minute. Listen, we have a lot of work to do. In the last 2 elections, we've lost the presidency, the United States Senate, the House, governor, attorney general, secretary of state, Supreme Court, Board of Education, 2 congressional seats, 5 Senate seats, 5 House seats, and the Oakland County executive. We're not going to win by picking each other off. We're going to win by unifying and focusing on our enemies, which are Gretchen Whitmer, which are Dana Nessel, which are Jocelyn Benson. Now, to the woman's question about Fred Upton and Peter Meyer, there is a primary process in which the voters in those districts will decide. The Republican Party does not fund in primaries. We don't get involved in primaries. We are a neutral organization focused on winning elections in November. So if you are upset with Fred Upton and with Peter Meyer, then give money to their opponents and go work for their opponents. But once they are the Republican nominee, we don't have a choice because we are a Republican organization. That's what we do. We don't win by subtraction. We win by addition. And I don't know how we can go 2 minorities, 2 Democrats, 2 independents and say, hey, come with us and change this country. We want you with us when we're assassinating our own. So, and I'm talking right now, and you'll get your chance. If we're going to win, we've got to get on the same team and go fight. Now, I want to talk about fighting because that's what we've been doing. Ron Weiser became the chairman 46 days ago. He inherited an organization that was in shambles, an organization whose leadership did very little, if not nothing. He inherited a $600,000 debt and immediately posted up his own personal money to match the contributions of our donors and our activists around this state. In 46 days, we've done more than the previous chairman did in 2 years. Ted Goodman is here. Ted Goodman, who joined us from the Trump campaign, from the Trump impeachment exercise, from the John James campaign in 2018, from Congressman Greg Pence, Vice President Pence's brother's office, who has been working his tail off since he got here less than 46 days ago. Let me tell you about the 5 press conferences that the chairman referenced. The first one, the second week we were there, Ted, I don't think, had been there 3 days. And we found out about the health director's secret deal when the payoff and the NDA. The next morning, Ted organizes a press conference on the steps of the state capitol with about a dozen legislators. And we're the ones that rang the alarm and for weeks pummeled the governor over that secret deal until what happened? She dropped the NDA. And now we're going to compel Director Gordon to come testify before the Senate and the House and tell us what he knew when he made this deal. A week later, we held a press conference at Comerica Park with state legislators right in front of the Tigers statues. We were pointing out that the governor arbitrarily said in a facility that holds 42,000 fans that only 1,000 get to go on opening day, while in Lakeland, where we're doing spring training, 2,000 get to go. Does that make any sense? It was arbitrary. It doesn't fit any metric anywhere. We did that press conference on a Monday, and by Thursday, what did she do? She raised the limit to 20% capacity. We're making a difference. We're fighting. So anyone here that thinks we're not fighting because the previous regime didn't fight isn't paying attention. We were just talking last week. You know, we've had a lot of success shaping things and moving this in the right direction. What do we do next? Well, Dana Nessel solved that problem for us when she arrested a poor immigrant who fled Poland and communism to come here and run her restaurant. She did that Friday morning. On Monday, we had Senator Eric Nesbitt and several state legislators standing in front of her restaurant, giving a press conference, denouncing the Attorney General, and not just denouncing her for the stupidity of the arrest for this woman just trying to run her business. She refuses to investigate the nursing home deaths at the hand of Governor Whitmer, her political ally, but somehow has the capacity to go find a way to arrest this poor woman and drag her from Allegan County to Ingham County and throw her in jail. Does that make any sense? No. But we should all talk about what's wrong with each other, or should we talk about what's wrong with Dana Nessel, Gretchen Whitmer, and Jocelyn Benson? We're in the middle of a culture war. We are fighting for the soul of this country, and I believe that every one of us, regardless of what deviations from conservative orthodoxy, love for Donald Trump, or any other measurement that we're going to assess each other, doesn't matter as much as getting on the same page and going after the socialists that are trying to destroy the country. That's what we are focused on at the Michigan Republican Party. It's what we will continue to focus on. We are going to recruit candidates at the state, federal, and local level. We're going to give you the resources, $2 million that have already been designated to fund county parties to go do the work that is necessary to win. But I'm not going to be participating in a lot of navel-gazing about what went wrong on someone else's watch, because there's a new watch. And you can judge us based on what we do over the next 2 years, rather than sitting up here and frankly rudely peppering the chairman with questions about what other people did. He got elected to make a difference, and that is what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to get to my prepared remarks. Battleground Michigan, $2 million that have been set aside. We had a call with our district chairs today. We're doing a call with our county chairs on Monday, and then we're opening it to other groups in the following week. We are going to do a statewide voter ID program in which we have people going door to door with an app, Campaign Sidekick, that we have negotiated with the House and Senate caucuses. You'll have about a 10 to 15 question survey right at the door. You're going to be able to identify voters, figure out who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, and help us build the most robust data that we can have for the election in 22. And when you hit the benchmarks, within that, money will flow into the county parties so that we can help everyone at the grassroots in the elected offices. We've started something called the Patriot Program. This is to help build candidate programs so that the candidates have a strong infrastructure and know what they need to do to win. And let me tell you why that is so important. We're in the midst of a redistricting in which we could lose congressional, Senate, and House seats. We could lose the majorities we have because we have a Citizens Redistricting Commission that is going to impose lines upon us. We have candidates that don't even know what districts they're going to live in or who they're going to be running against in a primary. And so we're building programs to make sure that when they find out when those lines are set, which I imagine will be in January of 2022, the Redistricting Commission today is asking to push the filing deadline back to the middle of May, which means our efforts to try to move the primaries up to June so we have more time to beat up on the three witches probably won't happen. But those candidates need to be building campaigns even without knowing where they are. So the Patriot Program will help them do that. It will prepare them and make sure we've got the strongest candidates possible when it comes time to run an actual campaign. Candidate recruitment. We're talking to many, many inspiring candidates that want to run for governor, for lieutenant governor, for attorney general, and for secretary of state. And I think in the coming weeks you're going to know those names, and you're going to be damn happy the candidates that we have leading the top of the ticket. We're working with the House on recruiting House candidates, the Senate on recruiting Senate candidates, the NRCC on recruiting congressional candidates. And I think the action when it comes to Congress and getting the control of Congress back is going to be in Oakland County. I think between Stevens, Slotkin, and Levin, two of those folks are going to be in a district running against each other, and we're going to take one, if not both of those seats back. Statewide polling. We all have feelings about what everybody else cares about. We know what we care about, but we don't win elections navel-gazing. We win elections by reaching beyond our base to other people, explaining why our ideas are the right ideas for this country. And we're going to do a statewide poll that we're going to share with all the candidates for state and Senate so that we know what the actual issues people are voting on and how to talk to them in a way that moves them. It's going to be, to your question, how do we start reaching out beyond the white constituency that we've relied on? We've got a lot of diversity with a lot of conservative values who love this country, and most of the immigrants, if not all the immigrants that came here because they want to be part of the American dream. It's the European dream. So there are ways to do it. But at the end of the day, the candidates define the party. The party doesn't. It's not a top-down situation. We're not the ones that make policy. We provide the infrastructure to make sure that our candidates have all the tools that they want. But it is what you guys do at the grassroots, talking to your neighbors, to your friends, driving people out to the polls, recruiting people to run for the offices at every level. Those people define who our party is, not an organization in a building in Lansing. We provide the infrastructure for the candidates and the activists to go do what they need to do for us to be successful. So when you look at us and say, what are you doing? We should all be looking at each other and saying, what are we doing? Because that is how we're going to win.
But we did the work and we didn't win.
Okay, but you know what? I'm not going to spend my time fighting a battle we already lost. I'm going to make sure it doesn't happen again in 2022. That's how we win. I'm not dismissing it, but I just watched you rudely attack him for trying to help our party move forward.
My name is Nick Stritzak. In my family, we love each other, we protect each other, but we discipline each other as well when needed. So if you can't take it...
I can take it. I'm done. I'll take whatever questions y'all want.
When you got up and you attacked me personally,
I did not.
I expressed
That's not true.
out of love for the party.
I did not attack anybody.
When you point at me and say, because people like you, that's an attack.
That's not even what happened.
When you come out here and start yelling at people because they disagree with your opinion, that's an establishment. This is not...
I hadn't even expressed an opinion before I was getting yelled at.
No, this is top to bottom.
No, it's not.
You're supposed to come here and be friendly with everyone and listen to everyone's concern, because we talk these things, we say these things out of love and concern for the country and the party.
And my point is, we're all on the same team.
Your approach is divisive, not your...
Okay. Yes, sir.
That's your opinion. That's your opinion.
Any more questions? Yes, ma'am.
Okay, no matter what you talk about, get all the candidates you want, as long as we have Dominion machines that are displaying that, and anybody in any country can come and interfere, it isn't going to do any good. And also, Michigan has a contract. How are they going to break that contract?
And I understand the frustration, and part of our call today was Senator Nesbitt. He addressed this. In the investigations that the Senate did, they didn't find any discrepancies in Michigan. I can only tell you what the senator said. But we can't, we're not the government. We're a political party. We run campaigns. If the legislators have the power to subpoena, to negotiate with the governor's office, these contracts are governmental contracts. We're not a governmental agency. We don't have a role there. Yes, sir.
I agree that you define the role pretty well. I think a lot of people need to know that, and that makes sense, a lot of what you're saying. But the area that we see the most, the weakest, and as part of it, was the previous administration before Ron got in, obviously. But one thing we need to see coming out of the gate is you have a voice. You can make statements, and you're saying that you've been doing a lot of that. We need you guys to go on the attack. Okay, we need you to hit the Democrats hard. Take off the velvet gloves and the gentleman Jim and the Queensbury, Marcus Queensbury rules. Start hitting them hard. They're eviscerating us, and they're playing a dirty street fight. Okay, we need to start defending ourselves. Go on the offense. I like your use of the word socialist. Are you going to start using the messaging where you're saying socialist every time you mention the Democrat socialist? I heard you say it already. I was thrilled by that. Right? Communists, right? That's what they are. They call us racist. We need to call them communists because they are the leadership.
We're on the same side, and that's what we've been doing. In 46 days, we have done nothing but throw punches constantly. Every day, we are in the office talking about what we can do on going on offense. Listen, you can criticize us for some things, and you're going to find plenty of things, but it's not going to be for not fighting and not being aggressive. I promise you that.
We still have to have a plan to get rid of the machine. Still have
Talk with your legislators. We will do the same, but we can't control that. It is a governmental thing. I mean, listen, I'd love to do a lot of things, but we're a political party. We can only do the things within our jurisdiction. Yes, sir.
Didn't the Democrats file 300 lawsuits before the last presidential election in all sorts of states to try to do what they did to change the ground rules? Why haven't we sued the Secretary of State to force the audit to go deeper into cyber warfare attacks, and if necessary, get my majority and minority opinion that is legally based and utilizes the best of international experts in terms of cybersecurity. Mike Lindell did this absolute proof video. Why haven't we forced the courts to listen to some of his experts and force the Secretary of State to have a redo of this audit on a deeper level, attacking and investigating the levels of international cybersecurity attacks and adding that to their level of audit investigations to do a re-audit of at least that portion of what needs to be investigated so it doesn't reoccur if it happened. And if it didn't happen, then we would have more confidence that things are being done without irregularities.
I can't speak with specificity on what has happened in the legal realm prior to taking this position. I'm happy to give you my card and we can follow up, and I can check with the Senate Committee on Elections and the House Committee on Elections, find out what they did and what mechanisms we have at our disposal. It's not something that I'm immersed in, so I can't really answer until I have more information. Yes, sir.
We just came back from Venezuela West, Portland, Oregon. I'm kind of new to the legislature, Republican control here, then why aren't they doing something in total?
You want to step up?
There's the mic. Here, the mic.
You don't have control. Try to keep your questions to 30 seconds.
I just have a simple question. Why isn't the Republican legislature of the state of Michigan getting rid of the Dominion machines?
Thank you.
Like Antrim County.
Very simple.
Like Antrim County.
Thank you, thank you. That's the problem right there.
Like Antrim County, tell them.
I'll tell him, man.
Yeah, forensic audit, I would think.
His question, if you didn't hear, is why, again, haven't we gotten rid of the Dominion machines?
I didn't say that. Why hasn't the Republican majority senators and legislatures from the state of Michigan got rid of them?
Right, that's I thought what I said. All I can tell you is that on a call that we had right before this meeting with Senator Nesbitt, he said that they did an investigation and couldn't find any justifiable reasons. You'll have to bring it up with them. We're not the legislature. We're a political party. We run campaigns.
They found out.
And if Mr. Weiser are in charge of the leadership of the Republican Party.
For campaigns. We don't control state legislators. It's not how it works. They are independently elected by their constituency. They elect their leaders. We don't have any role in telling the legislators what to do. We have no power there.
You may not have any power, but you have a voice.
And as does everyone in this room who makes up the party.
You're the leader of the party. Of our voice. You're our voice.
All I can tell you is we have had this conversation. I can only tell you what they've told us. Yes, ma'am.
Did you read the report, the forensic report?
I have not yet, no.
It's been out there.
Listen, I'm doing everything I can in the 46 days. We're hiring staff, we're cleaning the office, we're raising money. We've got a lot of things that we're trying to do.
It says, it's like, I don't know, 6 feet long. It's not that long, but, I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, I get that. I go to church on Sunday, that's enough. They make me do that. It says that they found all kinds of stuff, and it just lists the holes and the ways they got in and the way they could corrupt. And then,
Forensic audit.
did you watch the video by Pillow Man?
No, I have not.
I'm going to send it.
Okay. Yes, ma'am. Standing up.
Okay, I understand the frustration in this room because I, like many people in this room, stood at the state capitol in January and December and November and froze our butts off for hours. And people like Shirky and Chatfield dismissed us.
We weren't nothing.
They are supposed to be our representatives. We blew them up with emails. We phoned their offices till their answering machines couldn't accept any more calls, until their emails were full. And what did they do? Nothing. Totally dismissed us. to Lansing more than once, and I know several people in this room also went there. We made our signs. We stood there in the cold for hours, below zero. And what do we get from these legislators? Crap! That's the frustration in this room.
I understand. I understand that, but again, Ron got elected on February 6th. All we can control is what we can do moving forward. And I promise you, what we're going to be doing is fighting and winning. And you know what? 2 years from tonight, you won't be saying these things because we will have won.
Okay. And I pray with all my heart. That's exactly what happens. And I will be fighting, and I'm sure many people in this room will be fighting for that exact purpose. But in the meantime, I would like you and Mr. Weiser and some of the other people that have access to people like Shirky and Chatfield to tell them.
Believe me, I'm going to share with them what happened here tonight. You have no doubt.
Yes, tell them we're pissed off.
I promise you. Yes, ma'am.
Republicans need a lobby.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So just to clarify, the reason that they're not getting rid of Dominion is because they don't believe. I mean, I just talked to Steve Johnson, so that's the reason. But my question for you is, which I'm just trying to understand, are you saying that you have no power or ability to put any pressure on them? That's what I don't understand, and I don't understand why you would say that when you have the relationships. I'm new and I don't get it. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
They've heard from the party, they've heard from the activists, they've heard from lots of people, and they haven't moved on it. They're telling us that they don't see any fraud. There's not really much beyond that again, we're not the government. We have no power to negotiate governmental contracts. We are not in the executive branch. We are a political entity that runs campaigns. We don't govern, we don't make policy, and we can't change what the legislature chooses to do and the Secretary of State does on these things. Yes, we can talk to them just like you can talk to them, just like many have talked to them, and if they haven't moved, then the decision has been made. We're going to focus on what we can do to change and win in 2022. We're going to recruit the right candidates, build the right infrastructure, and like I just said to the previous woman, you won't be saying this in 2 years because we will have won across the board.
Sure. If you guys have a question, come up, line up over here, and then you'll get 30 seconds. We're going to hand you the microphone. People are having trouble hearing this, and also we're trying to record this. They won't hear it. So, and you can just say, John, will you take care of that? Sure.
One quick follow-up. So how can you have that confidence when we are not taking care of the Dominion systems, what you just said? That's what I'm not understanding.
We're going to do everything else so well. We're going to do everything else so well that the machines won't matter. I mean, there's nothing else we can do. I can't change what I can't change. I mean, you guys want us to change things that we can't change. We're going to focus on the things that we can.
74 million.
Something might happen to those machines.
I get what you're saying, okay? And we are all Republicans. My question is this, and I understand your scope of authority too. The media is controlled by the government, by the Democrats, as it is in a totalitarian country. All we hear is socialist propaganda. That's all our young people hear. That's all they hear in school. That's all they hear on college campuses. So my question is, how can we get the word out when the media is against us and is not going to give us a fair shake on anything?
Well, one, I mean, obviously over the last 25 years, we have had some alternative, conservative media voices. You heard from the previous speaker who has an independent journalism outfit. Here's one of the things that we learned. There's 83 counties in Michigan. When I was president of the Ingham County Young Republicans in 1994, do you know how many young Republican organizations there were in Michigan? None. 83. Do you know how many there are now?
No, 12.
3. There are 33 colleges and universities in Michigan with a student population of 1,500 or more. Do you know how many have college Republican chapters?
2.
17. Right there's one place that we can start reaching out. So our commitment to you is, at the end of this term, under Mr. Chairman Weiser's leadership, we'll have 83 chapters of the Young Republicans, and we will have 33 chapters of the College Republicans. That's our job, is to build the infrastructure so that we can reach the voters and turn them out to vote for our candidates.
Okay, that's all good and wonderful, and do you think you're going to work harder and get more votes than President Trump, who won by a landslide, bigger than anything in our recorded history of the United States? How can you hope to win if you're not going to deal with the Dominion machines and every other problem? They broke every single law we have, okay? Why can you not get an arm of the Republican Party that's going to deal with this issue? You can't hope to win at all. We can't have any hope if that issue, if we don't go back to hand counting at every district or every precinct, and that precinct puts their results out right immediately at that spot, so they can't be stolen, or the results skewed. Okay, the ballots can't be thrown in the river when they get put in the box. They have to be counted. It's there. It's public information. Right immediately. We can't hope to win with electronic. You cannot verify an electronic vote. The machines completely have to go.
They're all paper.
We have to go to paper votes. How do you think you're going to win?
Listen, we could talk about Dominion all night. It doesn't change the limits of our ability to affect these things. Again, I will relay this to the people that are in a position to do that. But, if everyone wants to ask me about Dominion, it's not going to change what I have to say. I will. I said I will.
The rest of it's just
By the way, you know how we're going to make sure it doesn't happen? Is we're going to elect a Republican Secretary of State who won't use Dominion.
I'm going to come at this from a different angle. There is something you can do. There is something you can do with respect to the results. We all witnessed what happened at the TCF Center. So what I propose, and something that I am doing, is I'm running a candidate against Janice Winfrey for Detroit City Clerk. The Director of Elections is who's responsible for which machines are used. If we can help replace her with a new Detroit City Clerk, we will have influence over who chooses the machines, who counts the ballots, which is more important than who casts the ballots. We all know this. So this is something that we actually can do, and I am doing 7 days a week right now.
And that's exactly what we should be doing right there. That's the stuff that we should be doing, is doing what we all can do to change what's happening.
So how do we get in touch with somebody like that where we can help them?
Come on over to this table after this vote.
Okay.
Talk to him if you're in waiting.
I want to change the tenor. I can't change the past, but I can change the future, and so can everybody else in this room. And I want to know how we can get involved. I understand we can contact our legislators, but I think the real fight comes at the grassroots. We have to get people out there to tell our story.
Yeah.
So I want to hear your comments.
Well, I mean, for starters, you're here. So you're already doing something because we're here, right? We announced Battleground Michigan, or we have told you guys about it. It will formally become a program on April 1. There's the first place. We can go out going door to door, getting on the phones, and identifying who the voters are, who are our voters, who are the voters that are open to our message that haven't voted for us before. You can help recruit candidates. You can become a candidate. You can go walk for a candidate. You can make phone calls for a candidate. You can donate money to a candidate. There is a host of ways we can all get involved. We all typically do know who our local candidates are. We're going to be a place that you can go. We're revamping our website so that everything everything that you need to know in your counties is accessible, how to reach your county party chairmen. But this is not a top-down organization. It is a bottom-up organization, so we're going to give you all the resources at the grassroots level, at the county level, to go take control of your counties, and that's how we do it. 83 counties of leaders is how we do it, not one building in Lansing.
Hi. Hi, everyone. So, I just want to give you a little bit of information, a little bit of hope. So, I've been going around and doing a little bit of talking about how we're going to change things for the next election. It's going to be a 3-point plan. I need it. I'm not a loud talker. So the first thing is that grassroots is really going to have to rethink how we're going to handle poll challengers and poll workers. Now that's a little bit down the road, but we're going to come up with a much better plan. I actually helped train 400 poll challengers that worked at TCF. Recruited 1,500. We recruited 200 people to work as poll election inspectors. That's going to we have to think ahead of what the Democrats are going to do, right? We don't work that way, but we're going to have to do it. Secondly, I've been talking to people. There are some great ballot initiatives coming down the pike. One of them, there's a couple of them I'm excited about. They're going to come two-pronged, but one of them is going to be, we're going to go out and undo the 2018 provision amendment that's been added to our Constitution that allows any reason absentee voter. So you're with us? We're going to change that. The last thing that we're going to do is I'm working with the legislature. We're going to get some things through the legislature. It's a little bit more difficult, we know, because we got a roadblock at the end, but we're going to get a few good things through the legislature. So hang in there. We're working to change things. With Dominion, you know what? This is a long investigation, unfortunately. There is a lot of evidence, but we have to get a court ruling in our favor. We have to. And it's coming. So hang in there. Don't be discouraged.
Coming. Thank you.
Just hold it. Yep, go ahead. Sorry, I know that you have touched base on this and you said, we have to, as the people, reach out to our legislature and contact them, but I can speak for many women in this room because I'm on a group chat with them, especially is we have reached out to every single person on this legislature since November, and we don't get responses. We get a chain letter back that's the same thing that everybody else gets. It never answers our questions. So when we come to you, it's because of the fact that you are kind of the voice. You just said you met with them and you went and did your press conference in front of Detroit Tigers. We don't get that opportunity. So when we're fighting for our children because they have to have a nose swab once a week for sports right now, and there's no science behind it, we are feeling hopeless, at a loss, and what else to do.
First of all, I want to say thank you for the strong statement. Stand behind what you're doing. Keep up the good work. Keep working hard. Nobody's going to agree with you 100% on everything you do. We appreciate your efforts, Ron's efforts, and I'm going to support everything you do.